right, so for those of you out there in podcast land, I'm sure we've said this before, but we record ahead of time.
Yes, we do.
We do.
This week, April 12th is today, we are recording this episode. But this week, we got a picture, science, quote-unquote science, got a picture of a black hole.
We did.
Did you see it?
No, I didn't even know this
you
happened.
didn't see it?
All right, I'm going to bring this up real quick.
I go pop culture incommunicado all the time. And well, not that,
It was
this
like
is
a
science
decade
culture.
in the making.
Yeah. So I'm going to show you a picture of the black hole
Like
real quick.
they had like a dozen observatories look at this
Like
black hole.
petabytes worth of
Oh
information.
my God.
Yeah. And
That
it took
is
like
total Sauron.
and they took this information and they flew it to other places because that was faster than the internet because it was petabytes of information.
Oh, so it was the fucking hunks of info were so big that flying it was faster
flying
than
it was
doing
fast.
any
Yeah.
part of it.
So
sending
they
it
flew
on
from
the internet.
and they called it this.
So Yahoo Mail was not
something
cool with
something
this.
array, which makes me scared because that means Borg technology.
Yeah, totally.
When you say array, I think Star
Of
Trek
course,
and
yeah,
Borg.
absolutely.
But yeah. So that was it's funny because that picture when they showed it, I'm like, oh, that's pretty dope. But it looks almost exactly like a simulation that they already had. Of what they thought it was.
Oh, yeah,
look
it
like.
does, yeah.
No, the speculation
Science.
is pretty, it
Fucking
looks like a
science.
super angry iris.
Yeah.
A glowing red,
It's the eye of
hateful
Sauron.
eye
Yeah.
that is sucking you in
And it's
to
a little
the
bit blurry.
eternal
It's
spaghetti-like oblivion.
A little bit blurry.
Dude, it's 55 million
Yeah.
light
Yeah.
years away or something like that.
But we're going to have like a brand new super Hubble up soon.
yeah.
Yeah.
If it's not already. Like they're making like polished mirrors the size of fucking Minnesota now, and they're going to be able to see like a pimple on
But
the
this
ass end of everything.
essentially used the entire Earth as a telescope.
Oh, that's
Because
amazing.
it used a whole. It used,
Yeah.
I was trying to think,
places
like,
all
what
over
can
the
you
globe.
see in the oblivion of a black hole? But of course, the event horizon is going to be redolent with light.
Well,
because that's where it all gets fucking trapped.
that was the theory, or at least the hypothesis.
And there it is.
There it is.
Of Einstein.
Science.
Science.
Yeah.
Science wins the day.
Yeah.
So before we get started with this week's episode, I posed this question. If we can see it, can it see us?
No.
Of course. Yeah,
No.
no, the
There
moment
you
you
go.
can see anything, it can see you.
If you observe it, we'll be able to observe you.
No matter how inanimate it is, the moment you can see it, it knows you exist and probably hates you.
And it probably is going to come into
I
your
feel
world.
like you're right, but then this one, no.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to go with my I'm calling this my Galactus
Because
theory.
we're looking at something that has already is 55 million light years old.
So it may be like 44
Well, I
million
didn't
light
say
years.
it was going
Like-
to see us immediately.
I mean, it might take some time.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, look, this is my Galactus theory.
Wait, we only
okay?
got like 6 billion years before Sol blows up and incinerates Earth. So by the time it glances back, we're already fricassee.
Oh, so we're like a snack that it wants when it gets to us.
If it's the black hole,
damn it,
then
it's
yes.
already gone.
It's like the other end of the Ponderosa. Not that there's anything you really want to eat at a Ponderosa.
No, there never
But by
is.
the time you get there, you're like, fuck.
Yeah, these tacos look so good from so far away. Oh, they're garbage. They're garbage.
It's going to take 55 million light years, but we'll get there.
So basically, the moral of the story is Earth is taco garbage.
There you go. Earth is taco garbage. Thank you for joining us for this week's episode of the Kryptonaut Podcast. I am Mark Storrs, and with me, as always, is
I'm crass.
and
Rob Morphy.
social medias, Instas, Twitters, and Facebooks. Hit us up there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I drew that out. Rob and Chris are active on the Facebooks, and I'm active on the Instas and the Twitters. Oh, Patreon.
Exciting.
Thank you all so very much
we're
for
doing
your
a thing.
contributions.
We're
It's
doing a
huge.
thing.
It's awesome to see so many people react to it, and we got a lot of positive feedback, so that's dope. It's patreon.com/Kryptonaut Podcast. We got a $1 tier. We got a $5 tier. So give what you can. And we're doing 2 bonus episodes a month and a couple other special things we're posting up in the feed, so go check that out.
And more fancy tiers to come.
And more fancy tiers to
I
come.
love to tease them, but I mean, there's going to be some pretty dope things.
Yeah, we're working on a couple things there. TeePublic, obviously, we got some our TeePublic shop, which is available at our new vanity URL.
Ooh.
Vanity.
If you visit hellerspace.com, you get redirected to our TeePublic shop, so it's even easier to get there now.
That makes a lot of sense.
And
Man,
I just
all right.
really wanted to buy hellerspace.com because you never know.
And it's fun.
That's
It's
a
a lot
good-
more
that's a
fun
good
typing
buy.
that into Google.
Solid buy.
Totally. Also to our Big Cartel shop. You can check that out. We have some enamel pins and some koozies. Stock is running really low. So if you want to grab something, grab it now because we're going to run out of everything. Almost everything's going to be gone pretty soon. like the next month or two. So
Jeez, do
get
it.
it while you can.
I hope this is like eventually on one of those PBS like antique deals. Like my great grandmother had this set of wonderfully huge kryptonite pins.
Dude, I can't wait. In a couple hundred years, it'll
this
be
was
on.
before
Yeah.
the Third World War and the Great Robo Wars.
Yeah, exactly.
What are they
exactly.
worth?
They were fun.
Why did they
People liked them?
Why did they create? Yeah, why did they create these pins so goddamn big?
Was
and
this
so-
a badge
so-
of
so
honor?
thick?
Was it to prove you had the strength to carry it?
Yeah, basically.
Why a skull?
It's a miniature belt buckle. So yeah, check all that stuff out, and that'll be in the show notes. And this week, Rob sprung this on us as per usual for Bobby over here, last minute.
Very last second.
I actually sent him a text message. I'm like, hey, how's the article coming? I'm gonna come pick you up, and he's like, getting into the email right now, and then bing, bang, boom, there it was.
That's how I do.
So this week, flying blind like we always do, well, except for 2 weeks ago when you sent everything early. Thank you. We're talking
Yeah,
about.
don't get used to that.
Yeah, it's okay.
That is
I know.
so the
Yeah,
exception.
it doesn't matter. I'm not going to be home.
Yeah, Chris is going to be drinking at his job. So
You're
it's no
welcome.
big deal.
You're fucking welcome.
This week we were talking about the Silva Mystery.
Sounds nondescript, doesn't it?
Very nice.
No, it's a
Sounds
little-
just
yeah.
like
You don't
hey,
know- you don't know
a
what that
family
means.
name,
Yeah.
and maybe something
a
involved
mystery.
that isn't quite
yeah,
known.
they lost mustard.
They did.
Yeah, could be.
They lost the condiments. The picnic was not the same.
Yeah.
Is that like a Grey Poupon trifecta of fuckery or something?
Totes.
Okay, good. In the early 1960s, the lives of a Brazilian father and his young sons would be utterly devastated by a home invasion consisting of a terrifying group of whispering shadows that were conspiring to kill, a pair of oddly shaped UFOs, and a fog of noxious yellow smoke from which, for one unlucky soul, there would be no return.
Well, that's a little ominous touch.
Yeah.
I feel like we need a crypt keeper voice. I feel like this one should be like the crypto chamber.
I know.
That first one's a terrible fucking crypt keeper.
Dude, I always do terrible voices. You know that.
I can't do it.
Nobody can.
No, how
That's
do
why
you-
I'm not even going to try.
And we met that dude too, John.
yeah, it was
Kessler.
the bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It
And
was
some
so weird.
shit in the bathroom.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. Yeah. I was like, "Hey, you're the crypt keeper. I'm not going to shake your hand because I just took I just went to the bathroom." So,
But
but
he was pretty cool.
yeah, and he was
he
was
was.
cool
He was
about me
pretty
not
cool.
shaking his hand too. Which I'm like, "Hey,
Oh,
I'd shake your
hey.
hand, but I gotta wash my hands."
It's called piss room etiquette.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so let's talk about a mystery this week, there, Bobby.
Let's do it.
All right.
South America is quite literally a paranormalist's paradise. Any cryptozoologist would salivate at the prospects of finding a heretofore unidentified species in the nearly impenetrable forests, rivers, and lagoons of the Amazon basin.
Oh, all right.
Black Lagoon.
I love
Like it.
lagoons.
Based on a real story?
Black, blue.
Is
I
it?
don't
Could it be?
care.
It absolutely is.
All right.
And someday we'll talk about it.
All right, cool.
Ufologists marvel at the sheer magnitude of reported UFO sightings, as well as the unprecedented numbers of close encounters that have emerged from the region. While folklorists could literally spend their entire career chronicling all of the strange creatures and supposedly sinister spiritual beings that dwell in the caves, jungles, and back roads of our southern sister continent. But while that secretive land is riddled with unsolved mysteries, there is one enigma that is unique in that it seems to embody elements of cryptozoology, ufology, and possibly even the paranormal.
Oh, we going deep with this one,
Snap.
Bobby?
We're
We
going way deep.
All right.
It's a mystery that began nearly 60 years ago. Located in the south-central portion of Brazil is the state of Minas Gerais. I think I'm saying it right. I never know.
All right.
While the territory's capital city, Belo Horizonte, can lay claim to its own notorious and ostensibly extraterrestrial happenstance with a trio of cycloptic Goliaths, the more rustic region of Duas Pontes was the purported epicenter of an altogether more horrifying and ultimately heartbreaking chain of inexplicable events. Now, our listeners probably know the Belo Horizonte. They really are one-eyed giants. Another day.
Okay.
We're going to go much more rural
All right.
and a lot more harrowing.
All right.
Sharing a rundown shack with his three sons, 12-year-old Raimundo, 6-year-old Fatimo, and 2-year-old Derso, was an impoverished diamond prospector named Rivelino Mafra de Silva. Rivelino's wife had passed away the year before, leaving this rare gem collector in the precarious situation of being both the sole provider and single parent to his family. Rivelino was by all accounts a loving father, but despite his many virtues as a parent, he was barely able to eke out a living at his chosen trade, thus obliging his family to live in abject poverty.
Yeah. How do you become a rare gem collector?
And
Look,
how,
I mean, actually-
how bad
apparently
do you
back
have
then,
to
though,
be
like-
to be basically living in a one-room shack?
Yeah, really. But I mean, that's gonna be a hard gig.
It's
Like, I mean, unless you're just mining all day. But like,
I one
how
time
many do you gotta get?
you guys
Yeah.
know the story, and I'm
I
not going to
don't know.
digress too
I don't
far,
know.
but I wrote a screenplay
You did.
about the
Oh, yeah,
autobiography
yeah,
of
sorry, yeah.
a man, Ishi Hayata, who became the world's largest emerald exporter.
Mm-hmm.
And he started off as a guy in Colombia, a Japanese man who immigrated to Colombia, and just they called them, just emerald cowboys, basically. I don't know the translation. And they would just go into the quarries and whatnot with their
You just
pickaxe
dig?
and their gun, and they
Wow.
would try to eke out whatever kind of a living they could, getting whatever gems they could find, and then shooting their way out of jams. And he did this with such dedication until eventually he became a multi-millionaire and super successful at it.
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking is what Rivellino is doing is that he's probably going into these really harsh terrains.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't seem like it's like a really highly organized thing like South Africa's blood mines or whatever, where you get like a rectal exam every time your shift is over to make sure you haven't smuggled anything out from the man.
Right.
I think it's like every man for himself, and apparently his luck is not super good.
All right, well, respect. This guy lost his wife, which is sad and terrible.
That's tough,
The kids
yeah.
lost their mom, but this guy is hitting the streets and getting it done.
And I guess,
Collecting rare
and in
gems.
South America, you
do it.
You work the ground. You
just
see what
do it.
happens.
All right.
As destitute as they may have been, the boys loved their father and were seemingly content with their humble lives. Lives that would soon be shattered by a series of unfathomable incidents that, just a year after the untimely death of their mother, would leave their family in fucking shambles.
Man, this is gonna
Oh,
get like
fucking
super, we're gonna get
shambles.
This is
sad.
going to be no, I lied.
No, all right, good.
It's
good,
going to be
thanks.
it's going to be
All
hugs
right,
and
good.
popcorn.
Yeah,
it's
'cause
going to be
you
love
know,
all around.
you know.
No, he wouldn't say shambles.
It's shambles.
Shambles is like the worst.
I know, really, it is.
It is
terrible.
shitty.
Okay, all right. Well, let's.
The first of the events in question took place on the evening of August 17th, 1962. Rivellino was making his way down a dark path that led to his home when he noticed a strange commotion in the garden next to his house. This concerned the man not only because his children were alone inside the house, but because his neighbors had recently reported a spate of animal thefts, including 2 cows, 6 pigs, and no less than, and no more
my
than,
God.
17 chickens.
Oh man, how do you steal a
Alright.
chicken?
17.
I guess it's a lot easier than a
Said no
fucking
less
cow or
than
a pig.
17.
I mean, but a cow or a pig, you can like walk on a leash, but a chicken, that thing's gonna move.
You got to snag a chicken.
You gotta almost like RKO it. You
This
gotta
mo-
you gotta fuck it up.
I wonder if this is like random, early chupacabra attacks that really have nothing to do with the greater
Probably
events.
just homeless, hungry people.
It was mentioned in the research, so I mentioned it to
Okay.
our listeners. There is not necessarily a direct connection, but you understand why Rivellino's like hyped up. Like people
yeah.
are stealing shit.
Right.
All he's got is a horse.
Yeah, he hasn't got a lot.
and
so-
3 kids.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta. That shit's gonna concern
He
you.
can't be having
No.
that shit go missing.
Not at all. All right.
As the prospector cautiously crept toward the scene, he was able to make out the distinct forms of 2 strange, small, humanoid beings that he would later describe to his colleagues as dwarves. Fucking dwarves.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Well,
I'm assuming Lord of the Rings style, but
I don't know.
I mean, it could be little people, but okay, we'll see.
well, yeah, or they could be.
That's
I've
kinda
also-
the same thing.
But here's the thing: I've also heard them described as fully grown adult humans.
Okay.
Not in any way,
Right.
like biologically proportionate,
Right.
but just very tiny.
Miniatures.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
These dwarves were less than 3 feet in height and were evidently burying, or perhaps digging, something adjacent to the house. And when they noticed the anxious homeowner, they seemed just as startled by his presence as he was by theirs.
See, that's weird because then they notice you, you notice them, and
And
you're
they're
both
like,
like,
"What?
oh,
What?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like,
what do you do?
And why are you digging next to my fucking... This is my garden.
I mean, again, I don't want to be the guy because I'm not that guy. But do you size it up?
Well, you gotta.
You got to.
I mean, your kids are in the
They're,
house.
they're digging and they're small. So
Are they,
you
are they-
know
are
you got
they-
the high ground.
Are they looking to steal your crops, or are they looking to bury something by your house that's just as shady?
All right. I mean, ask questions first and kick later, but I'm just
You know
saying.
what? He didn't get a chance to do either.
Okay. Continue on, Robert.
Within seconds, the diminutive creatures abandoned their suspicious work and dove into a wall of nearby shrubs. Before Rivellino could take chase, a bizarre red glowing object with a tall domed centerpiece and a large flat lip that ran around the base emerged from behind the bushes.
Oh, they have tech?
They have tech.
Oh no.
Everyone has tech.
The perplexed prospector stared at what he described as a glowing red hat. For the split second it hovered before shooting off into the night sky.
Was it like a little miniature UFO?
It's a little miniature UFO.
It's a mini
A
10-gallon
red,
hat.
super domed. I see it like a really high top derby.
Right.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But in my head, proportionately, these little humanoids that he came across would probably not fit into this thing.
You know, that's interesting. It doesn't seem like they could, based on the fact, unless it was a very large hat. The problem was,
Like a
Right,
sombrero?
there is no specific size given.
yeah,
all right.
it just has a shape.
So
you
is
have
it
to-
TARDIS-like in that it's bigger on
Right.
the inside? Was it like 27 feet by 32?
We've had
we just don't
Yeah,
know.
I don't know.
Alien ships always have weird dimensions. Like, well, it was 18 feet wide and 2
well,
feet tall.
Well, because
Like,
they're not there to measure them.
Right,
It's not like they're
right.
like, hey.
Yeah, I've never read the account where the guy is like the fucking measuring tape out and he
Yeah,
has the
no.
time to like
well,
really walk around.
if we know these things are going on, keep a goddamn tape measure and a flashlight with
You
you.
would
Yeah,
think.
but
Yeah.
they're never there to do it. Like it's usually in the sky.
Well,
Sometimes it's landed, but they can't. Let's not like they walk up to it and like,
right.
Can you guys hold
Unless
on a
there's
second
space
before
penguins
you-"
involved. Then they walk up, chuck rocks,
Exactly.
deal with force
Well,
fields.
Sometimes you have a zip line into it and you
Oh,
get pancakes.
we haven't talked about that. We haven't talked about that. Oh, stop it, Chris. You're giving away
All right.
secrets.
Shut
In
up.
this
It's a
case,
secret.
all we know it's a red hat.
Okay.
We're not sure of its size.
All right, cool.
And it flew off into the sky. In the days that followed, the astonished and anxious Rivellino would regale his friends with tales of the strange encounter, but there is no way he could have anticipated that this brief run-in with the unknown would pale before an episode that would soon clench he and his family in the night-long grip of mortal terror.
Mortal terror.
Taste the horror.
Worst.
The eve of August 19th, 1962 began like any other, with the De Silva family settling down early in the common room for a good night's sleep. But the events that followed would be anything but ordinary. Not long after the family bedded down, the eldest son, Raimundo, the 12-year-old as you might recall, awoke in a cold sweat due to the ominously hushed voices that seemed to be coming from inside the room. Oh, that's not good. That's never a good way to wake up.
No, whispers aren't good. Even when my kids come in my bedroom, they're like, Dad. I'm like, stop talking a normal voice.
Yeah, see,
You will be adopted.
This is why you don't have kids.
Yeah.
I don't need that in my life.
It's horrible.
I gotta poop. I'm like, it's 3 a.m. Who poops at 3 a.m?
I don't like hearing birds in the
That's
morning.
true. Well, I mean, you know.
Like, shut up.
Birds
Scared
are
me.
kind of annoying.
Yeah, my daughter poops at weird times. What are you gonna do?
When he opened his eyes, Raimundo saw a trio of oddly shaped, inhuman silhouettes gliding across the wall. He pushed his brother Fatimo to wake him, but found that he too was already staring wide-eyed at the shadowy apparitions that were slithering across the room.
Oh, it's creepy.
At least you're not alone, but it still sucks.
But when you both see it and you're like, you see that, I see that, I see that.
That's
Then
happening.
you're like, shit, it's on.
The boys stared at the weirdly whispering, shadow-shrouded fiends for what they said felt like a long time. Both were convinced that whatever they were staring at was also watching them.
Creepy.
And that's the feeling you're going to get. We were talking about it earlier. The Eye of Sauron.
Yeah, there you go.
When you see the black hole. Finally, the boys broke the standoff and crawled across the room onto their slumbering father. He woke with a start, and he and his son stared in dismay at the small, black, shapeless things that seemed to both float and surge across the walls and floorboards, creaking as they went. They have no substance. They're shadows.
Right.
They
But
can fucking
they
creak
clearly do.
floors.
Shadow people.
They are
They clearly do.
the unknowable.
All right.
They're
unknowable.
Lovecraftian.
Yeah, all right.
It's icky.
It's
When
gross.
when it's floating
Yeah,
and you
it's
think
nasty.
is the moonlight like reflecting something against the
And
wall?
they're whispering,
but then,
too.
But then you see, and then they're whispering.
Yeah.
being dicks about it.
Yeah.
Creepy.
Don't care for these things.
Not at all.
It's hard not to imagine Rivellino holding his boys tightly as he led them in the Lord's Prayer, in hopes of expelling these unholy visions from their modest home. In a move that would shake even the most faithful, the whispering voices that emerged from the undulating entities began to mock the family, claiming that their prayers were in vain.
Oh, so now these things are intelligent and they're communicating.
Well, they're already whispering.
Yeah, but I mean, if they're like, "Oh, look what you're doing, good luck."
Well, yeah. Wait, are they being assholes about it?
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
They're like, fuck your shit.
Yeah, basically.
They are mocking the family.
Fuck your
Claiming
shit.
that
Really?
their
That's what they
prayers
said?
are in
Seriously?
vain.
Well, because I didn't know if it was like in a
Wow.
religious context or not. That's why I
Well,
just
yeah,
said fuck your shit.
mocking them in vain. Yeah.
Well, but,
Okay, well, that doesn't...
well, here's the thing. There is no direct quotes, so I can't give you guys direct
That's
quotes.
why I said
Okay.
fuck your
But
shit.
here's what's saying.
It's
Well,
a
let me
generic
finish that.
term.
Fuck your shit.
The entities went on to say that their words would not prevent them from doing whatever they desired to whomever they desired.
Oh, no.
That's why
Wait.
it's legit what I said.
All right, say it again. 'Cause
All right.
we missed it. We're having
no.
a fun time.
Giggling fun time while this fucking
No,
family's in mortal
everybody heard
terror.
it. It was...
All right. Say it again for my sake because I was too busy watching Chris laugh.
The entity said
Okay.
that their words would not prevent them from doing whatever they desired to whomever they chose.
Ooh.
Right.
All
So
right.
what I said was legit.
So
Yeah.
it's all fucked up. So again, you got these kind of indefined, ill-defined shadow fucks roaming around your fucking room, doing whatever they're doing.
Shadow fucks.
And then when you're praying to God for help,
Or
which is
you-
a reasonable
or
response, they're
whoever.
like,
Right.
But in this case, they're Catholics.
Okay.
So they're praying to
Fair.
Yahweh and
Possibly.
Jesus,
All right.
maybe Mary, and these things are like, fuck off, wasting your breath.
Your words.
That's what I'm saying.
And that's kind of terrifying,
Yeah, no, that's creepy because they.
especially if they are a
Right.
family of faith.
All right.
Undiscouraged or perhaps unsure what else to do, Rivellino ignored the contemptuous creature's comments and maintained his invocations, imploring God to jettison these diabolic beings from his house. When the first faint beams of sunlight began to streak over the horizon, the slippery scoundrels slid toward the front entranceway.
Oh, gross. They slid.
That's what they kept saying, sliding,
Slid.
gliding.
Oh, weird.
Oh, that's what they do,
They
I
kept
guess.
using all of these adjectives that just imply,
Gross.
Slippery,
Yeah.
slidey.
yeah.
Ugh.
So
Okay.
who the fuck knows? As the inconceivable entities either slipped under or passed through the closed door, it would be Raimundo who would forever remember the last overlapping words uttered by the terrible hissing voices. And these words were, "This one looks like Rivellino. We must destroy him. Kill the father."
Oh, what?
And you know what? The way I hear it, I didn't do it any justice. You just hear this like gravelly, nasty ass, like the whispers over. Like, do you remember like those little dwarves in was it Don't Be Afraid of the Dark? Like the tiny little goblin things in the original made-for-TV movie. They actually remade it. I don't know, maybe about 10, 15 years ago or something.
I have to see.
But basically, this woman inherits an old house, and there's little tiny, like much scarier than Ghoulies or any of the bullshit from the 80s. This is like a proper made-for-TV 70s horror show, maybe early 80s, and they were and they would like talk about killing her and things like that. It was just
Weird.
bad.
All
But
right.
anyway, this is what it reminds
These things are
me of.
calling the father out.
Yeah.
All right. Oh,
Well,
man.
no, this seems like a targeted
But yeah, they obviously
a
know.
deal.
Yeah.
It really does.
It's not like, hey, look, we got to
Not a random person,
No,
yeah.
Hey,
this
look,
one
there-
looks
there-
like Rivellino.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, look, Rivoli, we got to
must
do
destroy
it.
him.
Destroy him.
Or no, we
Kill
then
him.
we have to destroy
Kill the
Yeah,
father.
kill the father.
Kill the father.
So it's a time thing. Like
Yeah.
we
Okay. All right.
we
well,
detect this guy. We have to kill the father to make this not exist.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. A Back to the Future angle.
Oh.
That seems
Who
to
is
be like
fading from the
a
photo?
time thing.
Yeah, it could be.
Timey-wimey.
All right.
Then, with the breaking of dawn, the hideous shadows and their ghastly sounds were gone. The terrified family remained inside. They would continue their prayers until sunlight flooded the room, finally banishing the last traces of the horrors that had infiltrated their once safe and happy home. And that's it. It's all over. Oh, wait.
Oh wow.
No.
Wow.
No, you think it's good
I
because
wasn't
that's the end of the
falling for
horror
it.
film.
Wow. There you go.
Scummy little lumps
Yeah. No.
hanging out in
It
your
is,
house,
but it's not the denouement.
mocking your prayers.
Cliffhanger Bobby. He's back.
Sunlight comes in, you're like,
Oh, it's over.
oh, it's
Yeah.
good.
Horror is over.
Oh no.
The only thing that could make this more ironically sweet is if one of them said, "It's finally over.
Yeah.
we're
really.
safe."
Yep.
Because that's the thing when an asshole says it.
Yeah.
they're so done.
It's
Yeah.
done. It's over.
And then Leatherface is chasing you down the road, and you got to jump in the
16
truck.
Freddy's.
Lumpy little Jason's
16
getting out of
Freddy's.
the canoe.
Oh man, Speaking of which, this week I spent most of the week watching Jason or Freddy versus Jason.
Why would you do that?
Really?
Because I'm a
Remember-
glutton for
But
punishment.
I mean, most of the week. That's,
mean,
that's a
Remember,
long.
we went to the movies to see that.
We did. We went.
Remember the
you,
kids in
you
front
and
of us
I,
were like,
yeah.
"This is guy, and he's got like a claw hand." Remember
Yeah,
the kids?
it-
and they had no idea.
Yeah,
like,
they had no context for it?
They didn't know. Yeah, they didn't seem to know who the
clue.
people
And then
were.
at one point, wasn't it the?
How
wasn't
funny
there,
that that's your first introduction to Jason Voorhees and Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, they had no clue. And then there was also one who was like, "Get up, come on, you got to get up." Get up, fucker, get up. And I'm like, does he think this is commentary on like a UFC fight or something?
Yeah.
Like, this has been predetermined, good sir.
God bless him, though.
Yeah,
Anyone who's that invested
he was
in a
all
horror
mad
film,
that Freddy wasn't getting up. I'm like, okay, well, there you go.
wow.
Friday, come
God
on.
bless him.
Yeah, all right. So Freddy versus Jason aside, what's going to happen next, Robert?
Bad things. I assure you.
Oh God, more.
Did I not mention shambles?
You did.
I thought I did.
Okay, well I thought
Yeah.
it was over.
No.
Okay,
No,
the
not at
shambling
all.
has just begun.
Oh, the shamble.
With the dawn came the hope of a reprieve from the horrors they had endured during that long and hellish night. Little could this faithful family have known that the worst was yet to come. Renowned Brazilian ufologist Olavo T. Fontes, or Fontes maybe,
Okay.
served as the regional correspondent for Jim and Coral Lorenzen's Aerial Phenomenon Research Organization, the APRO, which is super famous and existed, I think,
What the
until
fuck?
the 90s.
We've talked
All
about
right.
them before, yeah.
Which was established in 1952 for the purpose of investigating and reporting contacts with UFOs and their occupants. It was Fontes who began collecting newspaper clippings of the events that transpired at the De Silva home, forwarding them to his American counterparts, and it would also be from Fontes' translations of said articles that we get the quotes from young Raimundo. So from now on, we'll have an occasional quote. It all comes from his
All right.
research. Because
Yeah.
tons of... This became a phenomenon. This isn't one of those, like, little-known things where...
Right.
Like maybe one newspaper printed it and it's like the Weekly World News of fucking South Korea and it's all dubious. This was
Right.
massively covered.
All right.
With the unspeakable things apparently having been driven away by the combined disinfecting powers of prayer and sunlight, it's hard to tell which really did it.
Yeah.
Was it the science of sun? Was it the power of God's love?
Was it
Was
the
it
science
the
of
1-2
prayer?
punch? Was it an uppercut and a fucking
Light always
gut
seems to
shot?
do it though. That's the deal.
Well, I mean, it's good on molds and spores and fungi.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Spangler.
Spangler. I know. You, you know that's invoking.
Yeah.
Rest in peace. Raimundo took it upon himself to be the first to leave the now tainted hovel in order to help his family make their escape. In his own words, "In the morning, still afraid, I had the courage to go outside to get my father's horse." Ballsy. Like, good
Definitely
job,
ballsy,
Raimundo.
yeah.
I wouldn't have had those kind of...
He's like 12, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
A tough 12.
That's a man right there. There you
Before
go.
he could make it to the animal stall, the child was stopped dead in his tracks by the sight of what was to him an utterly perplexing pair of floating, rounded, mechanical objects that were roughly 16 inches in diameter each and hovering a little ways beyond the door at the height of approximately 3 feet off the ground. Raimundo later told the police what he saw. "I sighted 2 balls floating in midair side by side about 3 feet from the ground, 1 foot from each other. They were big. One of them was all black, had a kind of irregular antenna-like protuberance and a small tail. The other was black and white with the same outlines."
Okay.
So what we have are just basically rounded things with an antenna, weird
And a
ruddery
little tail?
tail things.
Okay.
One's all black, one's black and white.
But they're 2 16-inch diameter
they're-
balls
yes.
floating. Okay. All right, weird.
Though nearly silent, the oddly fish-like objects, I couldn't help but thinking about robot fish when I read this. Just like the weird tail, the
Okay.
rounded bodies. That's just me.
It is.
The oddly fish-like objects emitted a soft buzzing resonance and seemed to show evidence of a fossil fuel-based propulsion system that apparently kept the machines aloft with short, controlled bursts, according to Raimundo. Both emitted a humming sound and appeared to give off fire through an opening that flickered like a firefly.
They got like a little combustible
just
engine in there.
Like
Right.
little flames coming out of the
Huh.
bottom.
Weird.
Just
Okay.
odd.
All right. Okay.
Being illiterate and from what was then an extremely isolated region, Raimundo and his brothers were utterly unfamiliar with even the concepts of flying saucers or extraterrestrial visitors. What Raimundo did know, however, was that after his family's petrifying night-long vigil against the amorphous home invaders from hell, he was unprepared to deal with this new enigma alone, and with what was almost certainly a fear-cracked voice, he shouted for his father to help.
Okay.
Rivellino burst out of the house and courageously stepped between his eldest son and the mysterious mechanisms. Though undoubtedly filled with dread, the man of the house admonished his sons not to approach, then blessed himself and began to make his way toward the objects while loudly reciting the same prayers that had helped preserve them through the previous night. He's a man of faith.
Okay.
He's gonna
that's the deal.
ask God for some help. Boys, get behind me. I'm heading towards the fucking robot sharks.
It worked once, it'll work again.
Yeah, there we go.
Rivellino's young sons stared in stunned silence as their father made his way closer and closer to the monochromatic machines. When he got within 6 feet of the devices, Raimundo recalled what happened next. At that moment, the two big balls merged into each other. There was only one now, bigger in size, raising dust from the ground and discharging a yellow smoke which darkened the sky. With strange noises, that big ball crept slowly toward my father. That is a fucking dramatic change of events.
Yeah.
First off, two things merging.
Merge into one.
I hate that.
Bigger.
Yeah, that sucks.
It
That always sucks.
Yeah, not good.
And then it starts up its own little fucking dust devil cyclone.
Right, not good.
All right, and it's so profound it apparently darkens the sky,
Really bad.
which is real bad. And then it's pissing yellow fucking vapor.
Yeah, this is going nowhere
It's
good.
just the trifecta of shitberg.
Yeah, it is. This is
Nobody needs this.
No. Bad day.
At this point, Raimundo seemed to think that his father had fallen into some kind of trance due to the fact that he made no effort to escape the now swiftly approaching gaseous object. Perhaps Rivellino had fallen prey to a subsonic tranquilizer, or maybe he had just been paralyzed by the gas itself. Whatever the reason, he was quickly cloaked in a miasma of the jaundiced vapor. Panic-stricken, Raimundo charged into the haze to retrieve his padre. He described the scene. I saw him enveloped by the yellow smoke, and he disappeared inside it. I ran after him into the yellow cloud, which had an acrid smell. I saw nothing, only that yellow mist around me. I yelled for my father, but there was no answer. Everything was silent again.
Oh, man.
Then, as abruptly as it began, the bizarre incident came to a close, according to Raimundo. Then the yellow smoke dissolved. The balls were gone. My father was gone. I want my father back.
Oh, Jesus, the father disappeared?
Father disappeared.
He
What?
just left.
In a puff of noxious yellow shit fucking smog.
Okay. Okay.
Dude, all right.
Well,
It's a bad day.
All right.
It's a bad day for the DeSilva
okay.
family.
This isn't good.
This is officially shambles.
Yeah, now,
yeah.
now this is shambles. I didn't realize the father was gone.
We're officially in
Okay.
shambles.
You know, that day doesn't get any better, in case you're wondering.
Okay. All right. Well.
A lot of this is going to be human-induced shit.
Okay.
But it's still, we're going to round it up, and then we're going to get into our
All right. There we go.
normal theorizing.
All right.
Springing into action, the terrified Raimundo liberated his father's horse and made his way to the nearest neighbors in search of help. It wouldn't be long before the police became involved in this mystifying missing persons case. When the Brazilian authorities arrived at the scene, they were understandably skeptical about the story told to them by the boys, and with no evidence to go on save for a few scant drops of blood that were allegedly discovered outside of the DeSilva home, they decided to take the children in for questioning.
Okay.
The officer who was placed in charge of the investigation was one Lieutenant Wilson Lisboa, the then chief of the Diamantina police station, which is the region that Duas Pontes fell into. After he was informed that the search dogs were unable to find any trace of Rivellino, and that the diamond prospector's friends and coworkers insisted that he had no known enemies, he became convinced that Raimundo and Fatimo had conspired to murder their father. Fuck.
Whoa.
Presumably, 2-year-old Derceau would have been in charge of disposing of the corpse.
Oh, Jesus, nice. way to bring the 2-year-old into this.
Perfect.
Yeah, really.
Why, after losing their mother the previous year, a 12-year-old and a 10-year-old would want to make themselves wards of the state was something that Lieutenant Lisboa never opined about. Nor was there any suggestion as to why he believed they would choose to tell such a patently absurd story as their alibi. But while we may never know what Lisboa's motivations were in accusing the De Silva children of murder, the traumatizing methods he employed to extract their confession were well reported.
Oh, no.
The first ill-conceived attempt was made when the lieutenant summoned the boys' parish priest, Jose Avila Garcia, to question them. Being a man of the cloth, Father Garcia had no difficulty believing that demonic shadow puppets had infiltrated their home only to be dispelled by the power of prayer, but he drew the line at a fume-belting mini UFO abducting one of his flock.
Oh, so that was too much.
Oh,
for that.
yeah.
That was the
yeah.
bridge too far.
Gotcha. The
Yeah.
demons and the Adam and Eve is fine.
Perfect.
Fine, but you got a UFO, is a little miniature UFO with dust disintegrating people.
Silly
Can't have it.
shenanigans.
Okay, well.
Despite threats of diabolical torture, eternal hellfire, and the vow that if he lied, he would never be reunited with his mother in the afterlife, Raimundo steadfastly refused to recant even a word of his testimony. It all happened as he said it did.
Christ, that's what they threatened him with?
Well, what are priests going to do?
That's what they do.
Oh, that's right.
kinda.
You're a recent Catholic, aren't you?
I'm not a recent
You
Catholic.
became a Catholic just to get married to a Catholic.
Yeah, well, yes, my wife is Catholic. I am not.
When you're raised in the pits, son.
I lied.
I wish I could do a good Irish brogue here.
I lied to become a Catholic.
And you have 2 beautiful children and a wonderful wife to show for it.
Thank you. I do. Yes,
You
indeed.
became Catholic for all the right reasons.
I did. Well, I mean, I'm not, but, you know.
No, but you are. Pay the price.
Know your heritage.
Pay the price.
Pass the coin to the toll.
The next tactic was
Man, bad.
even more appalling, as Lisboa brought in a psychiatrist by the name of Dr. João Etunes de Oliveira to interview the boys. When they refused to budge on their story, the officer then had a sheet-covered cadaver rolled into the interrogation room from the morgue.
What the fuck?
Why?
Because there's no rules on what you can do to children in fucking Brazil in
So, like,
1962.
tell me the truth or see
Okay,
the
so
dead
this
body.
is.
Oh, this is getting creepy.
It's shitty.
Okay, yeah. Fuck this guy.
Dr. Oliveira told the weeping boys that they had found their father's corpse and that they should stop lying and just confess to the crime.
Jesus Christ.
So they're claiming that this random morgue corpse is their
Is it
dead
a dad?
dad.
Yeah,
Oh, my God. What the
no,
fuck?
I know, I told you the day didn't get any better. Shambles.
You're right.
Jesus,
You're
yeah.
right.
Total
You're right.
shambles.
You're
My
right.
God.
Between sobs, Raimundo insisted that everything they had told the police was true and that if the authorities had found his father's body, it was because the apparatus had somehow returned with it. Following Raimundo's emotionally brutal interrogation, Dr. Oliveira gave this quote to the press, who were becoming increasingly obsessed with the bizarre case, stating, "I do not wish to discuss the case further. The facts are beyond my competence. But I tell you that the boy is normal and he is telling what he thinks is the truth."
After you make the lie detector as the fucking corpse tongue, Mr. Dad?
I don't even know what
Yeah,
you do.
well-
What the
you should
fuck?
be disbarred or excommunicated or whatever the fuck you do to a doctor. I know I was just talking about fucking lawyers and fucking priests at that point, but whatever you do to make a doctor not a doctor because you did the shittiest thing to a suffering child.
No,
Okay, well, not
yeah.
all lawyers, because our lawyer is actually really cool.
I just said the wrong word with disbarred and excommunicated. I
Okay,
just don't
fine.
know what
Sorry.
the
I just
word
didn't
is for
want you to put
doctors.
lawyers in the same pit.
In what world was I disparaging
I
all
don't,
lawyers?
I'm just making sure because our
Wow.
lawyers might listen to this.
I love our lawyers.
Our lawyers.
I mean,
Would
our lawyer.
Would our lawyers do this to a small child?
No,
Random
not at all.
cadavers
Actually,
and
our-
fucking
No.
torturous hellfire.
Abracadabra.
And by lawyers, I mean we have 2 or 3 friends that are lawyers that occasionally give us business advice.
Bless their hearts.
We approach them with the,
and souls.
"Can I be sued for doing this?" And then they
Often.
generally protect us. So thank
To
you.
make matters more confusing, Father Garcia returned to the chief's office to inform him that his dear friend Antonio Roca had been fishing in the Manso River close to Duas Pontes at about 4 p.m. on the 19th when he was shocked to see a pair of ball-shaped objects flying in a circular pattern at a low altitude above the De Silva house.
We have some corroboration
Independent
here.
corroboration.
Oh,
All right.
no.
Full name, priest supports it.
There you go.
The priest that was just promising dancing with the devil
Yeah.
and
Yeah, I
fucking
don't
nipples
like-
pierced with pitchforks.
I don't
if you-
like this priest at all.
With no additional clues and the only 2 viable eyewitnesses giving identical accounts, Lisboa was at a loss as how to proceed and had no choice but to put what little information he had managed to glean about the mysterious disappearance of Rivelino da Silva with the rest of the cold case files. To this day, the fates of the De Silva children remain almost as much of a mystery as the whereabouts of their father. One can only hope that they were taken in by a kindly relative and spent the remainder of their days in relative peace. But it is difficult to imagine that sleep ever came easily after their nightmarish showdown with the unthinkable unknown.
The unthinkable,
Man.
which is the people in, like you said, the
Oh,
people,
yeah, no.
the people induced.
The authorities
yeah,
did not
really.
sweeten the
No,
deal.
no,
Like
that's-
the adults in there.
yeah.
Like I don't even know what. Like, first off, losing your mom that young, apocalyptic.
It's pretty terrible.
And you're living, at destitution's door, hand to mouth, probably.
Yes.
Fishing in the old Manso River just to get dinner. Probably going
The
hungry as
deal.
often as you're not because your dad's finding a diamond every 3 years or whatever.
Yes.
A baby diamond at that. But you know what? You've got love. You got love and you've got faith. And
Yeah,
then all of a
it's
sudden,
something, yeah.
you got these fucking filthy little tar balls. Of,
Yeah, I don't even
of
know,
apocalyptic hate crawling into your home.
Yeah.
And floating around and slithering and creaking on the floorboards and saying, your prayers are useless. You're wasting your breath.
Right.
Do whatever we want.
Yeah,
I mean-
saying your name, telling you
For,
it's
for the
useless.
cops to get this type of missing persons report and be told this story, I can completely understand how
They
you
shouldn't
would.
have to believe it.
Well, you could easily look at the kids and be like, well, these are obviously our suspects.
But 12 and
But
10.
that's the thing, is their age would make me automatically think like,
Which is to say, I mean,
how is
12-year-olds
it-
have killed.
Yeah,
I
but
know
how
that.
is a 12-year-old and a 10-year-old going to take care, going to do that to their father? Like, and not saying that it's. I'm talking physically, without there being any evidence. There was some blood,
Right.
which made me think, okay, maybe
Drops.
maybe
A
true,
few scant drops of blood.
true,
which,
true
who the F
crime
knows?
angle. I mean, if the dad was sleeping, whatever, the kids could totally probably fucking smash his head or whatever. But there'd be more
Now,
blood.
could a 12-year-old and 10-year-old, if they say had a horrible abusive dad or whatever, could they have conspired to and probably successfully killed him in his sleep?
Probably.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, totally.
But could they have done it with like 3 drops of what may have been blood? I mean, who knows what passes
Yeah.
for forensics in 62
That's
at that
right.
point.
62 is
Yeah.
not.
Well, that's kind of the issue too. Is the time that we're working
forthcoming.
with. Yeah, there's not a lot of tech there.
No, not a lot
So-
of text. But I just don't think they could have concealed the evidence of a. All right, so say it's a suffocation.
Right.
And they drag him to the river. Well, all right, maybe there's a chance that the Cayman get him, or who the fuck
There'd
knows.
still be tracks of them dragging them or
You would
moving
think.
them or something.
Yeah, but they might not be looking for that at that time either.
Right, possibly.
We
here's-
say that, but
There's like this thing created like swirly dust devils.
Right.
If it really
But
happened.
we have years of Law and Order behind us.
Yeah, we do.
that's what I
Yeah,
mean.
so-
So it's hard to say. Like, well, they clearly be looking for this. You're
And
like,
like
well,
Dexter
not
and shit.
clearly.
We're talking about 2 illiterate kids that, I mean, it doesn't say specifically, but you can almost assume they probably never went to school.
Right.
They probably worked the land or whatever.
And it seems like if their father was abusive, it would have probably have come up in the investigation. People,
here's the-
you would think
well,
people would.
Here's
you know,
the thing. I
Well,
mean, his,
maybe
his
they
friends
would
came
have
forward
sent something. Maybe.
to say, that they got along famously as a
Right.
family. Now, maybe they were trying to protect their friend Rivellino and not like badmouth the dead or the presumed dead.
Right.
There's a lot of different things. But all right. So we do this as we always do it. We're taking the skeptical point of view.
Yeah.
Is it
Yeah.
possible that Raimundo and Fatimo tag teamed? I don't know how. I mean, maybe their dad was drunk or something, but it would be hard for 2 kids, I think, even to subdue a sleeping man.
Totally,
Like,
yeah.
he wouldn't want to be suffocated. He would, I mean, he digs rock for a living. He's probably
Right.
fairly strong.
Right.
But would it be possible? Yes. Would it be possible for them to hide a body, somewhere in the jungles of Brazil? Yes. But
mean-
does it seem likely? And more to the point, why would why would he dead, went to work one day and just never came back?
why is your alibi that he disappeared in a puff of fucking yellow arachnid smoke? Or
Acrid.
Acrid.
Spidery
Arachnid.
smoke.
Yes. Which is even
yeah.
worse.
Which is the
actually.
worst. I
Yeah,
know. Oh,
arachnid.
God, you just made me puke a
Acrid.
little in my mouth.
Sorry.
Eight-legged smoke.
Freudian slip.
So, and why would they run for help? Why would they
Yeah,
instantly go
they
to the police?
literally-
Yeah.
Why would they constantly be crying and saying, "Oh my
Yeah.
God, we want our dad back"? Why, when these children of faith who had literally prayed the entire night to get rid of these, to what was them, even if it's not necessarily what it really was, demonic creatures out of their home,
Right.
why would they do anything to jeopardize their afterlife and their immortal souls?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's really all they've got at this point, because they don't have fucking
The-
parents at this point.
The reaction afterwards, to be to be plotted out by if this was some super nefarious plan by a 10 and 12-year-old. I mean,
they don't know
kudos because they
nefarious
pulled
at
it
that
off,
point, I don't
but
think.
it doesn't seem like they'd be capable of doing it.
They might be. They don't have the wisdom at that point, or
Right.
the.
Well, like Rob was
they've
saying,
never read a true crime
They could
novel,
be
a
psychopaths,
Mickey
but that
Spillane.
that doesn't mean
like
they.
Rob was saying, they ran to the neighbor's house. I mean, that alone right there. And
I
then
just-
the alibi of he disappeared in a puff of smoke from a fucking whatever, a little metal ball.
Yeah, after
Then-
a night of shadow
Yeah.
boxing, and then after
Shadow boxing.
a few days ago, by Rivellino's own admittance, seeing tiny men digging a hole and flying away in a UFO.
And that was the other thing
Yeah.
is that Rivellino saw that.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
The little men in the
let's
UFO.
put a little cap on this. I do not think the kids were lying.
No, I don't either. I don't.
And
I don't think so
and
either.
the fucking filthy, horrible Dr. Oliveira, who was complicit in one of the worst things I've ever seen happen to a child, especially a child in distress.
Yeah.
Even he came to the conclusion, and where he publicly said, this kid is sane, and he believes what he is saying.
Right.
He wasn't
That's
saying
all you
that it
can say
happened,
about
but
that,
he-
yeah.
but
Yeah.
so even after doing that filthy, horrible shit, he still came to the conclusion that Raimundo,
Right.
at least,
All
was
right.
being dead on.
So-
believe what
all
you're
right.
saying. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's that angle. Obviously, I don't think any of us are on board with that. So, but there is the skeptical. The kids
So
killed their father.
let's
or
move
whatever.
on to alternative ideas.
I mean, from all accounts, it sounds as though this guy was targeted. I mean, at one
Well-
point in the house, they said there he is, destroy him, kill the father.
Yeah, that's
So-
that's weird.
It is.
That is weird.
So if he's a rare gem collector, right? Like
A prospector.
a prospector. It's not like it's going to be like a thing where like a rival prospector came after him with some really fucking intense bullshit. Because none of that doesn't even make sense.
Well,
it just doesn't.
Maybe
make sense.
the rival prospector summoned something.
That absolutely.
Well, I didn't want to go
makes-
to magic and summoning.
Well, we
but-
should definitely
You're
go
gonna
there.
end up there.
I
so
know, but I
why
didn't
not
wanna
just
get there
There's
yet.
a
I
lot
don't
of
wanna
different
go there
routes
yet.
to go.
Yeah,
with this.
you're gonna go there.
I know
There's
I am.
no.
I
Could
know.
there be
I already
je-
have it. I already have
Listen,
it figured
listen.
out.
Could there be
Yeah.
jealousy among prospectors? Absolutely, especially if Rivellino was a successful prospector.
Okay, that'd be a great
which
name
he
for a song.
Fucking clearly was not.
Well, yeah, he wasn't.
He was not.
True. True.
But if he was making hand over fist, then somebody
Right.
could do some shady shit. But then his children would have no discernible reason to not report that Bill Ryan,
right.
European prospector,
Bill
worst-
Ryan, yeah. Seriously,
Just the
William
worst.
Ryan, yeah.
Bill
just
Ryan.
the red mutton chop scumbag.
What did he have? He had Prospect. What was it called? Prospector Envy. What did you call it? Prospector.
I don't even know. So this guy is so pissed at fucking Rivellino that he murders him.
Yeah.
The kids would have no reason to protect fucking Bill Ryan
Un-
of red mutton chop
unless he
fame.
was like some weird like Godfather uncle, and they were friends. In Rivellino discovered the one thing that was going to put him over the edge, and Bill Ryan was like, because I don't know,
Bill Ryan's
because I
even a
don't
part of
wait-
the story.
Shut the fuck up! I don't remember his name. I'm going to call him Bill Ryan because I don't remember.
All right, fine.
And Bill
Fucking
Ryan was
Bill
like,
Ryan.
oh, like he did the snap, he did the fucking Boromir, and he's like, he just fell into the trap.
But for
He's
the
like,
record,
ooh.
there's no Bill Ryan recorded in this account.
No, I just
Right.
And in fact,
Yeah,
all of the
no.
co-workers and friends indicated that he had no known enemies.
Okay.
As unsuccessful people usually don't.
Okay, we're talking
All
about
It
the
is-
unknown is Bill Ryan. Like
Okay.
the unknown fact.
So what Bill Ryan is the unfathomable real.
Okay.
Now
Yeah.
let's get into the slightly more fathomable
Real quick before we leave
unreal.
this-
Yeah,
is
the anti-benefactor that is unnamed.
Yeah.
Bill Ryan.
Bill Ryan. So if there's gonna be a hashtag Bill Ryan, if our listeners are gonna get that going, then just make sure you tag me in that as well. So
Yeah.
So you can savor every
I
Bill
can-
Ryan
yeah, every
moment.
Bill
Yeah,
Ryan
the
moment.
anonymous antagonist,
Yeah,
Bill Ryan.
okay. So, all right. Obviously, this starts off with him coming home, seeing these little humanoid people digging a hole. They jump over, which
into
for
the
some reason in
shrubs.
my mind, it's a gleeful jumping, like yee. And they kind of jump. I don't know why. It seems cute.
Okay, well, okay.
I don't know what
It's
kind
a
of clothes
fucking-
they're
what-
wearing.
What is that? What is that fuck-sucking leprechaun movie that Disney put out?
The
forever?
Leprechaun?
Bill Ryan and the Little People. No, what was it called? Darby O'Gill and the Little People. You guys remember that? Where they're all frolicking
absolutely
and
do.
stepping?
never.
Darby
I
O'Gill,
do
yeah.
not remember that at all. How long ago was this put out?
Oh, it was made in the 50s, I think.
Oh, okay, yeah,
And it was
I-
just
I
on
was-
Darby
like
O'Gill.
seasonally.
I wasn't alive or watching TV then, so.
Oh my God!
Sorry.
It was on TV when we were fucking kids.
I
dude.
don't watch seasonal TV.
You don't watch The Irish.
I
on
don't
TV.
watch
No, I
seasonal.
watch-
I don't watch seasonal TV.
I don't watch seasonal
do.
TV.
No, you
That
don't.
is a
I
lie.
watched the
You watch the
Simpsons.
fuck out of Halloween
I
stuff.
watched this. Yeah, the Simpsons Treehouse of Horror.
It's fucking seasonal.
That's it. It's the only thing.
Can we stop
I
digressing?
protest the rest.
Wow.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
Not. I'm on point.
Unbelievable.
I'm not. I don't believe this.
Let's
bullshit.
get back to Bill Ryan.
Fine, Bill Ryan. So
Darby O'Gill and Bill
Darby
Ryan
O'Gill.
conspired.
Yeah, exactly. Jesus Christ.
I don't think
No.
I don't think that he was taken out in a fucking random act of envy or
No,
human
not at
on
all.
human violence.
But these things did target
But
him.
here's what I'm intrigued
They knew
by.
it was him.
Well,
Just
seemingly.
just calling the things that he saw digging in his yard dwarves. So I've read enough Tolkien over the years and, done my studies on the wee folk and the leprechauns and the whatnot. And if there's one thing that we all know dwarves are legendary for is loving and being possessive of their gems. They don't want humans fucking with them. They don't want other dwarves fucking with them. They certainly don't want goblins fucking with them.
see this angle.
Or pixies or imps. So you've got a diamond prospector living in what is, I'm not an expert on it, but clearly a place where precious stones are discovered.
Right.
And they're digging near his house. Some people are speculating they're planning something. Other people are speculating they're trying to get something out. But maybe they discovered that Rivellino's land maybe had a rich vein under it. Maybe he was unsuccessful in the field, but was accidentally had his little Humpty, as they call it in Australia.
A humpy.
Humpy, my bad. Maybe
Humpty.
that was
The
maybe that was
Humpty
on
dance.
Hold on. Humpty as in the dance?
Humpty
Yeah.
as in
Really?
the broken egg that couldn't be repaired by all the top
Oh.
surgeons of the day.
Okay, good. Yes, way to go even back farther than the Humpty Dance by Digital Underground.
That's what I was
Congratulations,
saying.
Robert.
All right, so I'm sorry. My Humpy
Congratulations,
callback
you
was
old,
an abject
old
fail.
bastard.
Humpty-
Regardless, the shithole he lived in with his kids might have been on top of a very, very rich. I don't think diamonds come in veins like
Or-
gold, but who knows?
No, or quite possibly, maybe he happened to stumble across something while he was collecting his rare gems, and maybe they realized, like, oh, what
So
does
here's
he have?
all right. So again, we're going to go into
Speculation
speculative
territory.
but maybe he did find something, and rather than jeopardize himself and his family before he could like turn it over for a proper profit, hid it in his yard, but he had taken the wee folks' most precious of objects, which is pretty much anything they own, because they are super covetous. They fucking
maybe.
don't like people to begin with, and they are certainly.
And-
I'm going right back to Tolkien on this. They are at loath for anyone to go into their minds and touch their shit.
And kind of like the Potosi Sheep Slayer callback, that t-shirt is available at our website,
Right.
hellerspace.com.
My
They do
favorite, by
have
the way.
tech.
Oh yeah,
They are known to have tech.
this is why
I
I'm.
thought dwarves are gnomes.
Well, I mean,
Because this sounds like an amalgam.
it
It
could
sounds
be,
yeah.
Gnomes
no,
seem
it's-
to be like
gnome.
the tinkerers, but the gnomes seem to
but
be
no,
like the builders and
dwarves
engineers.
though too. Dwarves. Well, I'm going by Skyrim. but-
dwarves are mostly known as miners.
right.
You're right. Gnomes are tinkerers and like they're the patent
But I
officers.
feel-
they're the
yeah,
high
I feel
tech
like
of the
they're,
fairy
Yeah,
world.
they're like the front office. Yeah, they keep shit tight. So
Okay.
So, but regardless, whatever these things are, it's not like uncommon to hear of these diminutive fairy folk having tech with them. So, if for some reason they did have whatever these, whether whether it's the two 16-inch diameter balls that form into one, or if it's this red hat that flies away, or whatever level of tech they got going on,
that's
is
just weird.
Clearly, fucking way beyond us.
That's why my first thought.
Or maybe it's
Is
just
it?
maybe it's super
Is
steampunk.
it?
Alternate creatures that share the earth with us. We've talked about these before. We talked about it a little bit with the Dairy Fairy. We've talked about it in
Yeah,
other
yeah.
podcasts we've
Potosi
done.
Sheep Slayer.
Madura Goblin, the Potosi Sheep Slayer. The idea that, especially in South America with the Potosi Sheep Slayer,
Yeah.
Diminutive, non-human but humanoid, intelligent species that are living in secret. That have become the stuff of fantasy and legend in terms of pop culture and folkloric, stories and mythology, but might really represent bona fide biological beings that, like Mark was saying, have access to high tech that they develop themselves, that are maybe even slightly in advance or significantly in advance of what we've developed, especially in 1962. We didn't have free floating merging technology, but it still
Right.
seemed to need fire and a rudder
Yeah.
and whatever else.
Kind of steampunky.
But the idea, to me, the simplicity of it, dwarves are covetous of their gems. You're
Right.
stealing their shit, or if you just happen to be in an area, or if you just see them doing their work. I mean, there are lots of stories, of yore, where if you just catch fairy folk doing stuff that you're not supposed to see. You get whisked away and it's on. Now, maybe you're living in another land the rest of your life and having orgies and dancing by the fire pit and drinking their grog.
Probably not,
You know,
but-
Rivellino might not have lived a miserable life. He might have taken a little tiny wife and made
mean,
new
but
kids. Or he might have been tortured and devoured and whatever.
Yeah, but they said to
Maybe
destroy
that
him,
too.
kill the father.
Oh, yeah. No,
That's
you're
not
right.
like, oh, hey,
there's,
come
there's
on,
a,
let's hang
there's a
out.
little
Oh,
bit
you
of a
know-
weird prophecy
You know what I forgot?
involved in there.
Shambles.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's a
Shambles.
little
forgot
bit
the
of a
shambles.
weird prophecy. So
A weird prophecy?
Yeah, destroy the father. I mean,
yeah,
that's a
oh,
weird.
It's a prophecy in the sense that it happened like an hour and a half or 2 hours.
Sure,
Are you,
sure.
are you
whatever.
talking like Exorcist prophecy?
No, I'm saying-
here, or?
I don't know.
There's no prophecy in The Exorcist, was there?
I'm just like, are we talking demonic?
I'm
Are we
saying
talking...
at the time that is a prophecy. If someone says like doodle doodle and then something happens.
I don't know if it's a
So-
prophecy so much as it's a threat.
Is it a declaration?
Well, it
A
happened.
declaration of intent.
Yeah, but you know how I feel about declaration.
If you go before a judge and
Don't
you're a
declare.
monster and you're
Don't
like,
declare.
did you threaten this guy? It's like, it was a declaration of intent. You are
No,
not
it's still the
getting
same
off.
thing. It's like,
Yeah.
dude, don't do this. I'll punch your fucking balls. And then you do it, and I punch your balls. That's
Right.
prophecy.
It would be
Right.
so much more convenient. if,
That's prophecy.
That's true.
It's Chris
You
Ball,
did it, your
Chris's
balls got
ball
punched.
Punching prophecy.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
if the little guys had like said, you didn't see anything, don't tell anybody about this.
Why do they sound different from Brooklyn?
Shut your mouth. They don't. I can never do an accent.
From
Dude,
Brazil.
this was 100%
We'll get a fucking
dwarvish.
hoagie. I'll punch a dick.
Oh shit! Big Lou's back.
No, it's
He
not
made
Big
the
Lou.
appearance.
I know,
No,
it sounds
he
like
made
Big
the
Lou,
That is
but-
a
appearance. It was Big
Brazilian
Lou.
dwarf. What?
Yeah.
You can't tell
That
me
was
Clearly
Big
it
Lou.
was.
No, it was
Oh,
not.
see?
You're a fool.
I'll punch you.
Yeah,
I'll punch you.
yeah,
You
yeah.
fucking dick. There you go. See.
And
I'll do my
had-
terrible Big Lou the rest of the
I
episode.
know.
Had
That's
said
fine, it's
dwarves
fine.
made such a promise / declaration of intent to
Yeah.
Rivellino,
Yeah.
and then the next day he goes to work and like, guys, guess what I saw? Then he's fucked. Legitimately fucked. He was warned. He was fucked.
Okay.
But that's not what happened.
Yeah.
He busted them. They looked startled. They jetted. They
They
flew
jumped,
away into
yeah.
the cosmos or wherever the hell they went.
Yeah.
And then a few
Outta
days
here.
later, scum blob shadows, nasty
Right.
little turd buggles start
Yes,
roaming around his
buggles,
home.
yeah.
Doing their fucking nefarious shit, whispering evilly, making you pray until the crack of dawn. They say it's not helping.
Yeah,
leaving
that's the
because of
deal.
the sun and or the power of Christ compels you.
It's both.
Yep,
and then
clearly.
two crazy contraptions are waiting outside
Okay.
to whisk you away
Yes.
to the nether.
Yeah.
All right. So
That's it.
okay.
End of the pod.
I mean, almost. Yeah.
No, that's
Mission
it.
accomplished.
I mean,
Yeah.
is there really any angle that we can fit with a UFO?
We have to. There's three of them.
I mean, yeah, there is.
no, I mean they are unidentified. They fly.
Yeah, it's true.
Doesn't-
Okay,
now,
well,
what
by
Mark
definition,
is actually
sure.
asking is extraterrestrial.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
That's
okay,
technically
yeah.
what you're asking.
You're absolutely right.
My inclination is not to think extraterrestrial.
No, for some reason, I don't really. I mean,
It's not to say. Now, listen, there's that famous case in Italy where two big-nosed, dwarf-like things stole a woman's flowers and shot away in their rocket. And there's another
I mean,
case
that might be a UFO
in
than a
Finland or
rocket.
Norway or somewhere where, again, a guy with like a peaked hat and a big nose, and he looks like a prototypical elf-type wee folk
It's a masquerade.
was showing up. So there's, I mean, Jacques Vallée and a lot of others have made the
our
connection
buddy
between,
Jacques Vallée.
Passport
it's all
to Magonia and all
fireworks.
that. The idea
It's all
that,
an
that
owl.
we
Yeah, it's all
folks
fireworks.
and extraterrestrials are indistinguishable. That either the ancient people who assumed they were we folks didn't realize they were dealing with extraterrestrials, or people of the 21st century after the whole space age, who
Right.
the only thing they can fathom is it must be from another planet, just can't expand their mind enough to think that they're from another realm.
yeah, because because the shit is
pockets
under the
of
same
alternate
umbrella.
Earths.
It's all under all this crazy shit is under the same umbrella.
There's a lot of people who suggest that.
I'm not saying that I don't because I fucking do, dude.
And
don't.
if that's the case,
No.
then these little folks
No.
would have high technology that can fly. I mean, we have
Nope.
subatmospheric,
Yeah, we do.
atmospheric, and,
Yeah.
and spacecraft. Why can't another intelligent culture do it? Well, Chris said no. That's why.
Well, no, it
So
doesn't
no, we
matter.
can't, 'cause
no.
I
They haven't done it.
I'm a firm believer in the
You're such a humanist.
the Jacques Vallée theory of the goblin world.
You're firmly
so,
dumb.
Well, that's more.
Oh.
That's more
You're
like Ted
firmly
Holiday.
dumb.
Well, I thought it was Jacques Vallée.
No, I mean he buys that. But,
Okay,
I
all
mean,
right. Well,
just saying.
I'm into that theory though.
So you're into the idea.
I get it. Yeah.
That it's all. So are we dipping our toes into ultra terrestrial pool?
Oh,
No,
it might be
no,
interdimensional.
no,
Oh, you
no.
never
All
know.
right, all right, Chris.
No.
What do you think?
Wait, yeah, all right. Let's round this out.
Because he's been
with
angry.
Chris.
He's been
Chris
angry
is
and
mad.
poo-poo.
This
No,
one's tough.
he's mad.
No, this
There's the
has a lot
anonymous
of
benefactor.
He's not
There
the,
is
he's
no
the
anonymous-
He's the
Yeah, Bill,
anonymous
what was his name?
anti-benefactor.
He's the
William
anonymous
what?
antagonist.
The
What was
anonymous
his name?
antagonist.
Bill
Bill Ryan.
Bill
Bill
Ryan.
Ryan.
All
Yeah,
right.
the legendary Bill Ryan.
The
All right.
unknown
That
assailant.
is,
Yeah,
he's the MacGuffin. Bill Ryan
He
from
is the
this
MacGuffin.
point forth will be
Is the MacGuffin.
the antagonist you don't know.
No,
that missing
in the
piece that goes
denouement,
wrong.
yes.
All right, so Chris, what
In
is
the
your
movie.
what,
I don't
what is your
even
takeaway?
fucking know.
What
There's
do you got?
a lot in this.
Okay.
There's a lot.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
What I'm mostly disturbed by, not to interrupt,
You-
is,
you-
is
you
why
can't
are
end
they
on a
so
lot.
pissed at Rivellino? Like, you feel
Yeah,
terrible for
no,
the
I
kids.
know.
Let's be honest. I mean, the whole story I'm just reading, I'm thinking it's just the word. You know, I mean, I can't imagine losing your mom. Then your dad just disappears.
Yeah,
and so
yeah.
there's that weird twinge of hope he'll show back up, though by all accounts he never did. And yet that first day you have the police and the psychiatrist and everyone
Yeah.
else just
It's pretty fucked
running
up.
you through the emotional and psychological ringer. There's every chance in the world these kids were fucked for life. They would have been anyway, just
Yeah.
after scum globs, but everything else on top of it.
Yes.
So I care most for them, but the question I'm most intrigued by is why? Like, all right, so say it wasn't about stealing. He accidentally found one of their sweet dwarf diamonds. Say it was just something else. Like, are they assassins? Are they assassins?
Maybe, yeah,
from
maybe
another
he
world?
knew too much.
Was he going to do something or create something or be something someday that had to be taken out?
Right. Time people.
Yeah, whatever it
Time
was
people.
though came there that with intent. It was like that looks
Well,
like
when you
him.
make a statement like that, you
Yeah.
can't ignore that.
So
really,
all right, so
I guess.
Chris, what was your takeaway?
I don't fucking know.
I thought you had something. You were like, hold on a second, wait, what happened?
No, I was just saying you're full of shit. I was.
Oh, all right, fine. The Goblin world doesn't exist. Chris is completely tossed
I
my
don't
finger
know.
out the window. No big deal.
Like you can always theorize about all kinds of stuff, but
Right.
then when somebody makes a statement like that,
Mm-hmm.
then it's like, well, what do you do with that? Because that throws a whole different dynamic
As I've often said, once you add like
in the mix.
the magic whale to the mix,
That's
I call
what I
it
mean.
the magic
Just-
whale.
What's the magic whale?
The magic whale
that's
is anything that makes it cosmic and profound and nonsensical, and none of it matters
fucking
anymore
magic whale?
because the magic whale is there and it happened
know.
because of the magic fucking whale. If fucking
Yeah.
Bill
The
Ryan is the
magic
anonymous
whale.
antagonist, the magic whale
If
is
you
that one
can't-
thing
That
fuckers
one
like
thing-
to
yeah.
throw in, the monkey dick, if
Yeah.
you will. They throw in there,
Oh,
and all of a
because you
sudden
can't
everything
expand your
is
mind enough to
cosmic.
understand the fucking
And
little
he's
no,
saying,
listen.
I don't want to process this. I don't want to understand this logically. The magic whale did it.
The magic whale is when we were talking about dragons,
God,
and
this
then
is
all of a
terrible.
sudden somebody says, "Oh, breathe fire," and it did things.
All right.
That's the magic whale
Or
of that
it's
story.
just that you can't expand your mind enough to understand that
I will-
fairies and goblins and
your
aliens
taint
and
is
demons.
off.
I'm just saying.
Your taint's coming off.
I'm not saying that you got
Kicking
to
it.
agree with the theory,
Right.
But if we're going ultra terrestrial or whatever, if we're just saying all of these things technically fit under the same umbrella of weirdness.
You're saying that.
Well, no, Jacques Vallée and Ted Holiday and all kinds
Yeah,
of
but
people
you're
are
saying that right now.
Well, yeah, right
But
now
I'm
bringing it
also
up, yeah.
I'm also agreeing that there is something fucking crazy going on. I don't think of this as an extraterrestrial thing. I do think here's the thing, and this would be a complete mind fuck. What if the two dudes he saw digging some shit that flew away in the red sombrero had nothing to do with it?
Completely
Yeah, it was just
separate.
Like, what
yeah,
if it was
just
just
some
a
fuckers.
separate thing? It had
Yeah.
nothing to do
We
with
call
why.
that the Chris twist right there. Chris
twist.
Chris twist.
That is
Yep,
the
that's
unmagic whale.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That is
that's
the
true.
land whale.
The pedestrian whale.
That's the dead mud skipper.
nice.
We're gonna have to make a lexicon.
All right,
for
so
all that.
Rob, are you and I gonna hang out here and ride off together in the sunset like Thelma and Louise with our idea of these being some type of fairy folk,
I'm inclined.
dwarven fairy? Can you interchange the two?
Almost as much as I love the idea of plant sentience, I love the idea of alternate life forms. I know,
damn
don't cringe, because I'm telling you, we're going to live to see that confirmed, and then everyone will be like, good job, Rob. Nice going.
No.
Way to think outside of the green
I know.
box.
It's possible.
All right,
Unless
well,
we
we're
don't.
But
just gonna
let's
look
just
at you.
table that for
We're
now.
just gonna continue
Because the withering
to
looks
be disappointed with you.
are eating into my soul.
Okay,
Oh,
good.
Wuthering Heights.
Nice. Jesus Christ.
That having been said, I'm just as fascinated by the idea that we share this world with alternate, intelligent, humanoid species that are not humans as we are, but that have access to technology, their own development. They want to say separate from us. They are the source of legends of we folks,
like an offshoot civilization.
But I don't necessarily think, though. I mean, I'm open to the possibility, but I don't necessarily think they're magical, and that in a time when you believe in them, they're real, like Tom Cruise's legend. But in a time when you put all your faith in science and cable TV, they fade away. It's not that black and white to me. To me, it's like if you have alternate technology, one of the things you would learn first about modern humans is avoid them. Right. We are dangerous. We are mean. We are carnivorous. We are racist and ugly. And not all of us, obviously, but as a species, we are to be avoided. We are troublesome and we are well armed.
Right.
So even if you could take us, if you just want to do your own fucking thing and build your own tech and live your sweet life,
right.
The decision would be made to probably not interact with us.
So occasionally they assassinate us? With their weird mustard gas?
Dude, if you go back into fairy lore, they steal people all the time. Women because they're cute, boys because they're cute, guys because they turn left instead of right on a path. Any number of reasons.
Although,
sometimes they do heinous shit. Sometimes they do sweet stuff.
Right.
You never know.
I will toss this out there, though. We have had, as per our Flatwoods episode, they had a gas weapon as well, just like Flatwoods.
That's true.
So, not saying
which to me smacks of tech.
Right, which sounds like tech. Not saying that only aliens have gas weapons, because everyone can have a gas weapon.
Like take the two garden diggers and their red hat out of the equation. Just the two, the black and white and the black floating fish, as I called them, and their ability to shoot flames and fumes.
Right, turn to one.
I mean, why else would you need an antenna if you're not a drone or at least a vehicle that has something inside of it? That is trying to communicate.
Yeah, like the Potosi sheep slayer with his,
his
helicopter
or like the little baby Kira UFO with its fucking miniature corkscrew.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So
So
there's a lot of ways to go. I want to think that it's an alternate thing, but I still don't want to. Well, what I want to understand, I don't want to believe that they'd be this heinous. They clearly are. Why kill the dad? Why destroy him?
I mean, but again,
unless here's the other thing. I mean,
that's not to
badmouth the evidently the Bill
O'Ryan.
Is that anything Bill O'Ryan?
The Bill Ryan. The Magic
Whale. Bill O'Ryan. Okay.
Get your phrases right.
Who the fuck? What O'Ryan am I thinking of?
I don't know.
Bill O'Reilly, the former
Bill O'Reilly,
conservative.
Yeah. Did he get busted for like sexual harassment or something?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, moving on. It happens.
Right.
Fucked up, but here you go.
It happens.
Yeah, I don't know. Fucking whatever.
So, what I'm most perplexed by is what their agenda was, and there's part of me, and again, not to speak ill of the presumed dead, maybe Rivellino was a shitheel. Maybe he did heinous shit to his kids. Maybe these folk were like protecting the sons from just horrific abuse.
Okay, but we have no.
And they
by
are
all
like
accounts,
they are like interdimensional child protective service.
No, by all accounts, he was a stand-up dude. We can't take the stance.
Yeah,
people
have.
What are you doing?
They're not there in the night. They're not there. When he's tucking him in, it's like,
God,
go to bed. And they get fucking beat.
Wow.
That's a punch. That's a
still?
fucking
That was
All
a
right.
kung fu punch. Have you never watched a Shaw Brothers movie?
I have.
Yeah.
I have.
How do you not know that sound?
You've never seen
All right,
anything in
all
the
right,
news where
but-
like,
Here's the deal. We really don't know Rivellino. We don't know anything.
well,
we don't know what we don't know. His friends might see a guy during the day.
well,
a work day.
that's all I'm saying.
All
That's
right,
all
okay,
down in
I'm
the
saying.
I get it.
I'm not saying I think he's
People
vile.
say this
By
all the
accounts,
time.
his kids adored him, though a lot of kids adore abusive parents because that's their lot. You adore
Okay.
your parents.
All right.
Well, what I'm trying to do is find one tiny glimmer of hope that there aren't super intelligent, super technologically advanced, tiny, hellacious, amorphous
want it.
blobs
I know,
that
but-
mock your prayers
but-
and suck you
but-
away in a fucking vaporous haze.
Okay,
Because that
well-
world is a terrifying world to live in.
So we're talking about dwarves and fairies. Chris, you're unconnected to any theory?
There's a lot. I'm unconnected.
Okay, you're
but
unconnected. Okay.
there's-
All right.
I don't think it's extraterrestrials.
Okay, no, but you're thinking, okay. All right.
And that's the go-to.
Yeah.
I think most people probably
Which
think it's
is
an
weird.
ET thing.
I don't think
it's
it
not
is,
weird
but-
because it's got UFOs, but
right,
I think
it does.
I think we're a little more in tune with what's going on here.
I mean, I'm going to get you in my goddamn, Jacques Vallée boat one day. You're going to be there with me.
Dude, I love separate pockets of reality that exist within our reality that are our ultimate reality that we just can't perceive.
Oh, you just Chopra'd.
Psychedelic
You just completely
space
Chopra'd.
Magic whale.
You just completely Chopra'd.
Magic whale. All right, there it is. Thank you for joining us for this week's episode of the Kryptonaut Podcast. Patreon, check it out. Patreon.com/Kryptonaut Podcast. I did it again. I did the third time I did it.
You have a hard time with that combination of words.
Shit.
I love podcast.
Patreon.com/Kryptonaut Podcast. It really is the third time I did that.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you all to everyone who has contributed. It means a lot to us. We appreciate the support greatly, and some episodes are going to be there. We've got 2 up now, and there's going to be more coming soon, so check that out. TeePublic, get your t-shirts. Hellerspace.com will bring you to our TeePublic shop. Oh,
So convenient.
Big Cartel, check that out too. Socials, Instas, Twitters, and Facebooks. Again, Robin Chris on Facebook, holding that down. Why am I speeding up when I talk?
I don't know.
You always
You're
do.
just
I do.
excited to
Yeah.
communicate things.
Yeah. Okay. Ratings and reviews are always appreciated. Be sure to do that in the iTunes, Apple Podcast app. Stick around after the music. We got some reviews.
Wow.
Are they going to be 1 stars or 5 stars?
I don't know.
Am I
I
gonna
never know.
sandbag you assholes this week?
The fact that you said that
Am I gonna
indicates
sandbag
we're going to
yet?
get some
I
really
never
dark
know.
reviews.
Nah, we're good. We have no 1-star reviews this week, and that's going to do it. We'll be talking to you soon.
Happy Easter, fuckers.
This is coming out after Easter.
Shut up.
This is coming out
Happy
wow.
Easter.
2 weeks after Easter.
You guys are just
I hope you
happy
had
Easter.
a happy ham-filled Easter.
Don't time.
Unless
don't,
you're a vegetarian.
Don't time yell.
I don't give 2 fucks about Easter. It's a waste
Time
of
skull.
But you do
Old.
like Easter specials on
I'm not
TV,
saying Jesus
right?
is Easter. I'm just saying
No.
That's what you
no.
love. You
Oh,
loved
Star,
it. You said that
What
earlier.
fucking Easter special is there? Charlie Brown's prolapse fucking chicken Easter?
Wow.
Yeah, that's a deep cut. Do you remember
Yeah,
that?
you know
That's a
I
deep
do.
cut. Yeah,
No, I don't
on that
remember
note.
it because it never happened.
You guys know what it is.
Oh,
Charlie
God
Brown's
damn you.
prolapsed Easter fucking
Yeah,
holiday.
Exactly. We'll be talking to you.
Snoopy couldn't shit. God. Okay, bye.
Bye. Thank you for sticking around for the ratings and reviews. This is coming to us from the iTunes and the Apple Podcast apps life-saving service. 5 stars from Wheeltron.
Wheelchair.
As a working dad, it's hard to find time to keep up with what I should or shouldn't leave on or off the table. Now, I don't have to. The Kryptonaut Podcast never fails in reminding me what things you should never leave off the table, most notably ultra-terrestrials.
Fair.
What a great, consistent, high-quality podcast that never disappoints. When you spent most of your life reading about weird phenomena and cryptids, it's very impressive to be presented with so many cases I've never heard of. Lastly, Canada. And then a little emoji of a
God.
Canadian flag.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
thank you very much
Nice.
there, Wheeltron. What up, Canada?
I
Canada.
love that people like the deep dig. Because, I mean,
Yeah.
they've got to know. We've talked about it before. We debated whether or not we were going to be populists and or obscurists. And we all knew in our hearts that the weird shit is what we love. Ergo, that's
the
what we're
deal.
going to fucking
Yeah.
do. And I hoped, and I think we all kind of secretly, I don't know if we knew, but we secretly hoped that other people want to join the ride. And thank you for doing so.
Robert, Facebook, what's going on over there?
I've got a review from Chip Elder. That's, you know what? It sounds like a Lovecraftian god.
does
Chip
hit Chip
Elder.
Elder.
It's
yeah.
filtered through the mid-50s.
Yeah,
I love
Chip
that.
Elder. Okay.
And he has to say, it's like sitting around a campfire with some beers and a group of friends. Succinct, and yet spot on.
The deal.
There you go.
I hope there's comfortable chairs around said campfire, Chip, because I have an ass that is pretty sensitive. Like, sitting on, like, lumpy logs is not my jam.
No.
Or brambly dirt. But if
Oh,
there's a
no.
comfortable chair, a campfire, and beers and friends, I am
that's
in
the
there like
deal.
swimwear.
Me too.
Thank you, Chip.
All right, we got Just Like Old Friends, 5 stars from Tara and Paul. Listening to Kryptonaut is great fun, just like sitting and catching up with old mates with a drink or 10. Funny, thorough, informative, and very well read. Listening from Western Australia, so technically from the future, Paul B.
Oh, the future.
Ooh.
Thank you,
Paul
Paul.
Thank
Terra.
you.
Thanks, Paul
Paul
Terra.
and Tara. Thank you,
Paul
guys.
Terra.
All right, cool. Tara
Oh,
and
yeah.
Paul.
No,
Thank
that's a
you
metal
very
band.
much.
Yeah, it's one word.
Facebook, Robert.
Jeremy Roudabush. That's a phenomenal name.
It is very nice.
I love this podcast so much. The Cryptonauts expand my knowledge of the unknown and bizarre while making me laugh so hard I'm in tears. I am working through the backlog and was literally chomping down on a salad listening to the Mossman episode.
Oh, no.
Laughed my ass off.
Man.
Thank you guys for making my day better. You are fucking welcome, Jeremy.
You are welcome.
All right,
Thank you for
awesome.
enjoying Mossmen and salad.
So we're going to round this one out here with amazing podcast, 5 stars from KLL328. Pulls little-known cryptids into the spotlight with hilarious commentary thrown in. Whether debating space or hell, hailing the Dark Lord, or figuring out if it was just diabetes, you'll always be
Nice.
entertained. They don't swear enough for my taste, but no one is perfect. Keep rolling, guys. Can't wait to dig into the Patreon content. Awesome. Thank you very much, KLL328, and patreon.com/CryptonautsPodcast. Time for a Patreon. Check it out.
Wow.
Well,
it is.
fuckity fuck.
Yeah, and
Why?
the fuckity fucking
In case you didn't think it was swearing off.
shitball's a turd.
Yeah.
And you know
Nice.
what? I hate to out you, but I think Superman likes us.
KLL, I think he does.
Oh,
KLL's into us. All right,
Oops.
cool. There you go.
But no, thank you, and fucking thank you. And, we will try to max the profanity.
Totally.
We don't work hard enough.
Yeah, let's do it.
It's just that simple.
Let's do more. All right, there you have it. And again, the secondary goodbye. We will, in fact, at some point in the near future,
Jeez.
within the next 7 days, be talking to you relatively soon. Not going to give an exact date because you never know what's going to happen.
You never know.
You
Life
never know.
is random
Oh my God.
and shit happens.
We spotted the black hole.
You
You
showed
are
me a
wild
picture.
carding
I didn't
right
even
now.
know
If
what
it,
happened.
listen, if it eats us, we're going to
It's not
going
going
to
to eat us. It's been there for billions of years.
It's not going to see us until it's
Like-
way too late for us.
Yeah.
Okay, my nose itches. I have to go.
Why?
Goodbye.
You can scratch your nose
Don't
on
worry
the
about the
radio.
black hole.
The virtual radio.
You don't worry about the black hole.
I'm not. I haven't
You
been.
are.
Shut up.
You will.
Tell me what to do.
I really used to worry about black holes when I was a kid.
Because you were a smart
A lot.
fucking kid.
I worried about nuclear war and not
Whatever
black
the
holes.
I worried about
whatever
that,
the
too.
doctors said, you were smart, they were fucked up. And Chris, you should be worried about nuclear war. And
I'm
you should
not
pray.
anymore.
Good.
Me and my mom we made sure it didn't happen.
Because you guys prayed it away.
We did.
You prayed away the nuke.
Every
All right, good.
Friday.
Excellent.
On
All
my
right.
knees.
There
I
it
thank
is.
Chris 3 times a week for that.
Yeah, no, same
You
here.
fucking better. You're welcome.
We'll be talking to you. You're fucking welcome.